What's going on, guys? Key here from LK Street, back with another video. I honestly never thought I would make another video on this channel, but the last video I ever made, if you recall, was a review of these shoes, the Nike Pegasus Turbo 2 Hakone, or the Nike Turbo Pro in Neptune Green. And in fact, in that video, I mentioned that I would like to make a review down the road regarding the performance and my overall opinion about these shoes. And it's more than 2 years later. I've changed a lot. These shoes have perhaps changed even more than I have, if you see how they are now. And I'm finally making my review to give you guys my thoughts about the shoe, but mostly for posterity's sake. So I have my notes here on the handy little envelope, so shout out to the envelope. And I'm going to speak about my general thoughts. First of all, with respect to the comfort, honestly, it's a running shoe, so I don't really notice or pay attention to the comfort while I'm running. As long as it's letting me, run at my best, then that's all that's enough. But I did also use these shoes during a few of my travels or my trips. So when I was going to Nice, for example, I knew that I'd be walking around a lot, so I wore these instead of my regular daily shoes because it has much more cushioning. So it's definitely a really comfortable shoe, once more, because you have the Zoom X and the React layers that provide an ample amount of cushioning. So although I wouldn't recommend getting these shoes as a daily kind of comfort shoe, even though I doubt that there's a single person watching this that is making that consideration, even though I wouldn't recommend it, it's still a comfortable shoe. With respect to the durability, so I've kind of shown you guys briefly the shoe just at a glance, but I want to highlight several aspects of the shoe that disappointed me. So first of all, you can see here that on this upper, you have a slight amount of wear. I'm not sure if you can actually see that, but it's not even that serious. But right here, you'll notice that there is a bit of chafing. I'm not sure what caused that, but it's probably just normal wear and tear. So I can't say anything negative with that respect. But with respect to this protruding midsole that I so, lovingly lauded in the first video, it's not that good in the sense of durability. So if you look at this shoe here, you'll notice that not only has there been some separation, it's kind of just cracked through the entire thing. Now, I may say that this happened a month after I got the shoe, and that's because I was taking them off in not an intelligent way. That is to say, I took it off by pushing the heel of the other one. So I basically took one off and then I went like this, boom, to take off the other one. But I didn't realize that this is sticking out and it's not that strong or robust. So it ripped off. Luckily, I didn't do it too hard, so the entire thing didn't rip off. And somehow, in the last 2 years, this has remained almost in the same state. The kind of tear has slightly worsened over time, but nevertheless, it's still functioning as intended, I suppose. So that's kind of my fault, since I didn't realize that when you have the protruding outsole, you really need to untie the laces and take it off manually, as opposed to using your other foot to take it off in a lazy manner. But the one thing that is not really my fault is the separation of the midsole here on the medial side, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe that has occurred. The incidence of this is on both shoes. Even so, it's slightly more aggravated on this one. So the actual reason why this occurred was because I was playing badminton once, and this shoe does not support lateral movements. So when I went to stop on the floor in this manner, it kind of went like this and flopped over like this. So even though I said it's not my fault, it kind of is, since I was using this for a purpose that it was not intended for, that's to say in a gymnasium. I'm still slightly disappointed that the midsole was that weak. They probably just put some glue in there. I don't know what other techniques they have in order to essentially stick two parts of the sole together, but I feel like they should have done something that's more reinforced. With that being said, this is also similar to the problem here with the heel, that although it occurred, it has not become worse, and it's pretty much the same. So I really can't complain, and I don't really notice it that often. With respect to running performance, I guess that's the entire reason why I'm making this video, because now I have a lot of experience running with these shoes. Yeah, they're great. The thing is, now that I haven't run in another shoe in 2 years, I can't really use something to compare it. The first time I wore these shoes, like I stated in my previous video, it was after having ran in some very poor quality shoes for a long time, so I really noticed improvement. But now, since I've been running with them for 2 years, it obviously feels normal for me to wear them while I run. With that being said though, they're still excellent running shoes. I think that they've really lasted me well. I've probably put hundreds of kilometers on these. That's actually something else that is probably not good, because apparently for running shoes, you kind of have to cycle through them every couple hundred kilometers. So once I get back to Canada, I'll probably retire these. But even with that being said, they have lasted, and although the cushioning has perhaps degraded slightly over time, it's still pretty much the same as when I got it 2 years ago. And the one thing that I really wanted to say, one of the main reasons why I'm making this video, is to talk about the beautiful and just fascinating lacing system that is with these shoes. So I'm gonna do this to get more light in here. So the lacing system of these shoes is so kind of advanced or comprehensive that when the shoes become untied mid-run, which happens often since I don't tie them tight enough, due to the lacing, or I believe the texture of the laces against the upper, it doesn't become loose. Even though the laces are completely undone, you basically have around the same tightness around your foot during the entire run, so you don't have to stop in order to tie your laces. And this is probably the most important feature of the shoe that I've appreciated over time, because of course, the last thing you want to do mid-run is stop, have to bend over and tie your shoes while you're in a run. So that's really something that's excellent. I also believe it's because of the spaced nature of the lacing loops. So you can see here that there's quite some space. It's even shown on the inner side of the upper. And basically this spacing, I believe, allows the laces to have a harder time becoming loose, because basically it has to go against more friction against the sole, which will stop it from becoming looser. So I really wanted to highlight that, and it's very impressive. I believe that all of the Nike running shoes that are kind of on their top of the line product, are on their top line products, have this feature. So if you want Nike shoes, then that's one thing that you should definitely look forward to. And then the outsole too, I wanted to quickly talk, is so impressive that the only thing I can really see in terms of degradation or chafing is here on this inner side, whereas on this outer side, it's pretty much, oh sorry, this is the outer side, I'm mixing it up, where you have some chafing. On the inner side, it looks almost as if it was new. So perhaps that means I need to kind of run in more of a straight line, because this side has more wear. That would be an interesting thing to kind of observe. But either way, it's really something that has lasted a long time. I've ran in many different environments in many different countries with these shoes. And the white part, which is not resistant to tread and wear, has not worn either, because of, once more, the black lining, which essentially superimposes the white React layer. And then even here on the toe, it's still in very good condition. So yeah, that was the running performance. The style, I mean, it's a running shoe, so it's more of a utility thing as opposed to style, but I really, really, really appreciate the design of these shoes. It's so beautiful. Honestly, I think I need to clean these to get them back to the kind of newer condition, because they're really beautiful shoes, especially when they're clean. The price, of course, only dropped 70 bones on these bad boys. So what a steal. And I'm gonna show you guys the profit I made on the other 4 or 5 shoes that I bought. So I think it was 4. 5 in total, and I sold 4. And yeah, so actually that's everything from my list. So I'm gonna quickly show you guys on StockX all of the profit I made. Incredible profit. So I even mentioned in the first video that I was planning on selling these all for double the price, so 140 Canadian. If you look at the price that I sold these for though, you'll be shocked. So I hope that, I'm gonna look just to make sure you can see the prices. So yeah, you can see here, that's the first one I sold in the video when I said 140, because 163 with all of the profit that Stockaway takes is approximately 140. And then I thought that I would sell the remaining 3 for the same price. But look at that. The price just skyrocketed over time. So I sold 2 for 200, and then the last one for $320 Canadian, which is insane. Pretty much that one shoe paid for all 5. So I paid $350 for all 5, and I got $320 for that one. Probably they took around $30 approximately, because they take 10%. So $290. So basically one shoe paid for everything except for $60, which is insane. I've also looked to see, like, wow, this is crazy upward trend. Has it essentially sustained itself over time? And that's not the case, which is a good thing for me, because if the shoes were now worth like $1,000, I would have been pretty upset. But of course, this is not really a shoe that ever has the potential to get that value. So I really never had that conception, but I also did not think that they would ever reach $200. If I knew that, I would have kept them all until that point and then sold all 4 for $300. But that is obviously something that I've never been able to know, and I don't regret at all selling the previous ones for a profit. So that's it for this video. I doubt there will be many other uploads on this channel, but I just wanted to make this video for posterity's sake once more. I think I pronounced it right this time. And yeah, that's all.